And we destroy ourselves from the inside over time. Over time, we're destroying ourselves. It allowed me to see the power of love when I joined the military. Now that normally typically takes people on a little trip. They be like, oh, love in the military?
I was in Army Reserve and I felt no love and I was in Army Reserve.
When you get older, recovery becomes intentional. You have to really begin to work. And the way you recover is preparing to be able to recover. I'm experienced. I was in special education.
Oh.
So when you talk about writing a book, that's as far away from that as it could possibly be. But the point is that when I graduated from high school, I was just unprepared for life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Career Education Learners in the Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Rivers. I am thrilled and honored to have on our show today Juan Lee. Juan Lee is going to tell us a lot about himself and all his organizations that he runs. This dude has a professional profile. Oh, my goodness. Y'all going to love this show today. How you doing today, Juan?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Well, Juan, today we want to talk about your new book, Love Made Simple. We're also going to tell us about Mindset Monday, your nonprofit that you run, which you have on the screen there, Clear Journey Incorporated. And also, you was also a veteran, a U.S. Air Force veteran. Thank you for serving our country, Juan.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have had it any other way.
Well, let's start off with, tell us about Mindset Monday. What is Mindset Monday? I seen that on your profile. I said, what is Mindset Monday?
Mindset Monday really came out of the foundation of what Clear Journey is all about. Clear Journey is about a love mindset. And what we do is we talk about on Mindset Monday is the right types of attitudes that we need to have in our lives so that we can navigate life more successfully. It's really a little snapshot of, hey, did you ever think about this? Had you ever thought about how your mindset impacts what it is and how you navigate your day, navigate your week, navigate your life? And so it's an eye-opener experience. What we're trying to do is what I'm trying to do with that is say, look, Mindset Monday, let's start the week off thinking about this particular attitude, this attitude that's positive, something that can help you navigate your week a little bit better.
Is that the reason why you started Clear Journey?
Well, that came out of Clear Journey. Clear Journey really came from the book I wrote called Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success, where it really began to express the attitudes of love, how to demonstrate. You know, it was how do you manifest love in a way that people can now see it manifest. It really began to feel the impact of that positivity of what love is intended to do. You know, there's so much power in love if we understand what its makeups are, what it's made up of. And see, the thing about it is that we use it, and so many times we don't recognize that we're using it. And then many times people see it, and it's confusing. And that was what things that really got me started in writing my book was that, you know, it's love made simple. I'm trying to make it less confusing for people to navigate and to understand the value of love. And so I put it into practical terms and their attitudes, their behaviors that would be demonstrated, that would, exemplify what love should be, what it represents.
Did you ever dream of being an author? I know I spoke to you before our podcast and you were surprised as anybody that you wrote a book. Is that what prepared you to write that book?
My journey, and it's interesting because the journey and the book go together, and the Clear Journey is the name of the nonprofit, was not clear by any means. You know, my journey took me through an education process, academic experience, I was in special education.
Oh,
So when you talk about writing a book, that's as far away from that as it could possibly be. But the point is that when I graduated from high school, I was just unprepared for life. I didn't see anything for me or as to how I was going to navigate this space called life. And so it really became difficult for me to be able to see any value that I had within myself. What am I doing? What do I have to offer? And that's where my military experience came in. I mean, my journey started with the military. It was at that point I was like, I don't have any directions. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm getting there. I felt confused. I felt unable to do anything. I felt unprepared. I mean, I can't say it enough. I felt hopeless. And yet joining the military in a decision changed my life forever. And it gave me an understanding. And here's where things really gets really challenging and interesting for most people. It allowed me to see the power of love when I joined the military. Now that normally typically takes people on a little trip. They be like, oh, love in the military?
yeah, that took me by one. I'll be honest, it took me back because I was in the military. I was in Army Reserve, and I felt no love in Army Reserve.
Yeah. I mean, and it's really something that for the most part people don't really get and understand. But what love does and what love did, or what the military did, was to show me the power of love. Showed me the power of love, because what the military did is what love really is intended to do for every one of us, and it's to direct us to something bigger than ourselves. And the military, its mission is bigger than any one person.
Now, since you spoke about that, I see now in that perspective of love, right? Because our sergeants, drill sergeants, our leaders want us to accomplish the mission that they set us to do, right? To accomplish that. And that starts learning basic training to get you through, right? Then they start with your MOS school or whatever you're going to be. After you finish basic training, that's going to be your job or your career within the military. And so the teachers that I had doing MOS school, they show the love. It's not the love that we think of love outside the civilian world. It's a love to where I'm going to do the best I can to push you to make sure you be the best that you can be, right? I know that's cliche, right? We want you to be the best you can be, but they really do want you to be the best that you can be. And they show love by making sure that you do the best you can do, by making sure that you accomplish the task at hand, because a lot of people do not come unprepared, especially young people that my primary audience here is that sometimes you are confused when you come out of high school. You don't know what to do. And so military is an option there to where you don't want to do, and it can give you some direction.
It gave me directions in the military that has since then directed me through my journey in life. Because when I talk about a purpose that's bigger than yourself, you really begin to, in the military, you're talking about, you take an oath. You take an oath to defend and to protect the United States of America, something bigger than yourself. It brings you in agreement with all of the people that you're involved with on one bigger purpose. One bigger purpose. And when I got out the military, I lacked that. I didn't find that till I began to understand the bigger picture. Because here's the point. In every one of our lives, we have to have purpose.
Yes.
We were created with a purpose. Nothing has ever been created without a purpose. And when you understand what this purpose is, and this purpose is universal, that love allows us to recognize that every one of us has the exact same purpose. And we spoke a little bit about it when we were talking before we came on. Mm-hmm. And that is that universal commitment, responsibility to protect and to preserve humanity from generation to generation. We talked about the generations before us. that propelled, that gave us the opportunity to be here today. And we have an obligation or a responsibility to invest into this generation for the next generation. And that's the bigger picture. How do we continue to build generation and, extend humanity into the next generation? By investing in it, by putting the work in today that will be demonstrated tomorrow, will have proof of what we did for our generation will be seen in the future.
Is that why you started Clear Journey? You started after the military, then you started Clear Journey?
No, it was all after. It was the book. I wrote the book, and then probably about 3 or 4 months later, I started the nonprofit. And so that's basically what's been going on, is to begin to be able to show people the practical application of love through the 4 pillars that we talk about, where we talk about finances, relationships, health and wellness, and overall self-improvement. Whereas is that once you get this understanding that life is only about alignment, because the system is in place for us to be aligned. We have to realize that there's nothing new under the sun. All we have to do is become aligned to what the system is. Fall in line. Remember? Fall in. That basically we're saying, get in line. And that's what life is telling us. Get in line. This thing will work if we get in line.
So does that also cover our mental health also? That's one thing you're addressing also?
That's all in the health and wellness, all in health and wellness. So we talk about the way of being able to eat right, exercise, and learn your bodies. We talk about learning your body. I'll be 61 around the corner. And the things that you don't know, the sooner you know them, you learn them, the better you are off. Okay. And our bodies, as when we're younger, we think about it and we go, look, we don't even have to think about our bodies because they will recover by themselves. They will recover. When you get older, recovery becomes intentional. You have to really begin to work. And the way you recover is preparing to be able to recover. You prepare to be able to recover. Whereas is that the things that you would have put in your body when you were younger, yes. You have to learn to stop putting them in your body, because the damage of what you were doing when you were putting things in your body shows up when you get older. And the thing about it is, what we want to do is try to tell people younger that you don't want to be in a situation where your youth begins to hinder your senior years,
yes,
your elderly years. We want to make it a longevity, make this thing long as we can. But it starts in our younger years. How we prepare will determine how we journey will end or go.
Yes. And is that right? You also included financial wellness as part of the whole there? How do y'all handle financial wellness as far as getting across to your people or your clients about financial wellness?
Absolutely. I mean, I can tell you the first thing we do is we tell people that if you really want to understand that you reach your journey, reach your goals, your objectives in your life, you really have to be financially astute. We have to be financially educated. And one of the first things we do is we provide a free book. We go on our website and you get a free book. It's called How Do You Manage Your Money? How to Manage Your Money. And it's using a budget. And all this is a budget. I think people hear budget and they get afraid of a budget. A budget is basically just a snapshot, something so you can see where your money is going. And once you observe where your money is, if you're okay with where your money is going, if it's beneficial for you, where your money is going, then that's good. That's what you want to know. But 9 times out of 10, when you begin to put a budget together, you will find out that the money that you have, it's going places that you don't want it to go. That's not beneficial for you. It doesn't benefit you. And then now it's up to you to make the decision, make the choices that make how you spend your money, how you allocate your money is to your best interest. And this is the mindset shift. This is trying to, oh, now I want to be accountable for my money. I want to hold myself accountable. I just don't want to spend it. And then at the end of the month, we go, where did it go?
Yeah.
Wonder where it went. Well, if you have no accountability, if you can't be held accountable for it, it's going to go away. It's going to disappear. I mean, because all those, those $5 coffees and those quick hamburgers and before you know it, those, and now you can spend money so quick on your phone, it's ridiculous. So if you don't monitor it, you be aware of how you're spending it. A lot of times we don't know that we have enough until we look to see where we're spending what we had. We're spending it in places that it's not conducive to having enough, because we spend it on things that are not what we need, but things that we want.
And that goes in line with now with inflation and prices going everywhere. Now that really tells we need to be careful of our money and where our money going, because now it costs more. And as you know, Juan, it costs more to eat healthy than it does to eat bad.
Well, that's absolutely right. But you've got to begin to understand the value of that healthy food versus that bad food. I woke up this morning, I do a lot of my time in the morning, and I was just thinking about how our economy has really deceived us because of processed food.
Yeah.
I think back when my grandparents were living, and they had half of the things that we had. But they lived healthier lives, worked longer, drawn out times, physical. But the things that we're living now is longer lives, but the quality of our lives is deteriorating because of the kind of food that we're not eating food. We're eating processed stuff, things that are artificial. And if we don't recognize that our bodies are not meant for artificial food, they're not even food, then it's artificial things. And the harm that we're doing to our bodies. I tell you, over the last 6 or 7 years, I've been looking into how our body functions, how it works, all of the systems that our body has. And we destroy ourselves from the inside over time. Over time, we're destroying ourselves. And if we don't recognize and change our mindset and say, okay, I'll be willing to put the money that I have into the things that's going to serve me long term. It's not this quick fix type of thing. What it's going to take for me to live my best life is to put the things that are our bodies that are the best things for us. And the sooner we can get that message to our children, the better we are off the next generation will be. Because if they follow after our life expectancy is going to plateau. And it's probably going to start going back down, because we've gotten to this, all of the medicine is now, it's holding people's life alive, but the quality has gone down. We're living, but the quality's gone down. And when we recognize that, instead of the longevity or how long people are living, what's the quality of life with these people who are living? That's the message that we need to get across to people. It's not just breathing. It's what is the quality? And that means preparation. You need to prepare for quality. You have to do things to live. You're just if you live long and do nothing to do it, you ain't had nothing to do about it. But if it's intentional, that means that you've done something. You've done some good things about it. We have to be more intentional about what we put in our bodies. And that takes a mindset shift.
Well, that takes a mindset shift. Not only that, but I think from talking to you doing this podcast, there seems to be a correlation, all that go together, right? Because then if you don't have enough money and so you're spending your money on food that's not healthy, then that affects your health, which is going to affect your money either way, because now you're going to the doctor a lot. Right? You call high blood pressure and stress, because you're stressing out because you don't have money for the end of the month. Then you're eating not the best food because you don't have money to eat fruits and vegetables that's non-processed. Then everything affects. Then it affects your mental health, because now your anxiety goes up, your stress level goes up.
All of these systems are connected. All of these systems are connected. And we have to realize that. And when you talk about, look, June is mental health month, men's mental health month.
Mm-hmm.
And we really need to understand that that is a vital part of our health.
Mm-hmm.
We need to understand that. And I'm going to tell you, this is a journey that I've been on. You don't recognize that your mental health is directly, not partially,
Mm-hmm.
but directly affecting your physical health.
Mm-hmm.
It will impact your physical health. And the thing about it is that it will do it over time. So we really have to be conscious of our mental health. We have to be, and that's why, again, it goes back to another message that I say, we have to be authentically ourselves. Because when we're not authentically ourselves, we're trying to adjust to something that we're not, that's not who we are. And that's where adjustments come, and adjustments are difficult because they run against who we are meant to be, how we naturally flow. And so the biggest thing is find your authenticity. Find out who you are. We have 4 things that we talk about: know self, accept self, so that you can develop self and then give self. We're giving out of an empty vessel, something that we've not developed. We give it out of necessity, not out of abundance. And so we've got to build this abundance so that it doesn't affect us to give that which we have. And that's what we're here to do, is to serve one another, give what we have to one another. So it's important that we understand when we develop ourselves, it's for the benefit of others. It's not to just be harping and keeping it for ourselves, but it's really truly to develop ourselves. It's really getting to know who we are. Take the time, spend the time, the effort, and understand what is important. Is it important that I get what I want, or did I get what I need?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a financial decision right there, because when you determine what it is I need versus what I want, your money look different. Your expenses look different. When you're not when you don't feel like you have to be compared to someone else, because you know what's important to you. Your values lead your decision making, and your values are what is authentically who you are.
Are we getting any? Have we improved any? Especially when you talk about men's health. I know March was March or May. I can't remember which month. But one of them mental health, and then this month being it was Father's Day, right? Then the month of June being men's mental health. Are we improving over the last 10, 15 years since you've been on your journey? Are we getting better?
We're talking about it more. Okay. We are absolutely talking about it more. Absolutely talking about it more. And I think we just need to keep on talking about it. I think that's one of the things that are beneficial is that the younger generation is becoming more receptive to our mental health. Mm-hmm. The older generation, we're still trying to get back to realizing how the impact of not taking it into consideration over the journey that we've been on. We've been working and grinding, trying to make our lives impactful in financial means at the expense of our mental health. And now we've got to be able to come back and say, okay, this is something that I neglected. Now I've got to go back and find time to find out, because indirectly it has impacted this current generation. Mm-hmm. Because, they see, I think this mindset this generation have right now is this entitlement. Mm-hmm, this entitlement. They got that from us because they didn't see what it took to get it, and the anguish and the lack of clarity that we did in getting it, because we used by all means necessary to get it. It was at the expense of giving them this current generation, the tools necessary to be able to understand that this is not entitled. Mm-hmm. You've got to work for it. And the balance is what we lack, is being able to show the balance, because we would work 2 and 3 jobs so that they would have what they needed, the children or this generation would have what they needed, but at the expense of the guidance.
Yeah, that's definitely right. That is definitely right. Because, our generation before us, our parents and grandparents really taught us a little bit more, I would say, stern with us, because they knew what we were going to have to face once we got there into the world. Unfortunately, I think my generation, the generation a little bit before us, now with younger kids coming up, is trying to make it easier for them rather than showing them character. I think one of the flaws I noticed is that rather than trying to teach them the same thing that we grew up with, character and moral values, we're rather giving them stuff and thinking that's going to solve the problems they have, because life is life and all the time. You know, in life back in the 1500s, before then, it's always on life when you get out there. Instead of us trying to make things easier, we should have continued those values that our fathers and forefathers taught us, right? And I think that's where we lacked in, because we're trying to give them stuff that we didn't get, right? But we're not passing along the stuff we did get. The morals, the values, the standards, the hard work, you know.
They will serve the next generation more than anything that we could give them, because it shares, again, this goes back to why Clear Journey is in existence. It's because we want to give them the right attitudes to navigate this thing called life. Because life, as you said, it's going to be life. And there is no formula to change life. You can't change it because it is unpredictable. It is unpredictable. So what is it? We navigate it. We learn how to navigate it. You can't fix it. It is what it is. Okay. You can't change it. All we can do is manage it. We have the ability to manage what life presents to us. And how do you do that? Through preparation. How do you do that? Prepare yourself as best you can so as to navigate it and expect nothing from it other than what you put into it. You navigating it makes it, your success is based on your ability to navigate whatever life brings your way.
Well, I tell you what, I could talk to you all day on this podcast, man. I really could. Now, if someone would get in touch with you about your nonprofit, how do you get in touch with Finding Clear Journey?
Well, hey, we have quite a bit of ways. We're all the social medias.
Okay.
You can either find my name or Clear Journey on all the social medias. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is clearjourney.org. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is Clear Journey Inc. Clear Journey Inc., where you will find a lot of our podcasts we have there. We have our It's Life podcast and our Philosophy of Love podcast. And also we have an event that we do once a month, every fourth Saturday at 5:00. It's called Real Life Talk, where we come and you're invited. Everyone is invited to come on to the podcast. It's an event. It's not even a podcast. It's a group that comes together and really support one another, build a community so that you might be able to, if you have questions, you have things that you're navigating, you're trying to you get answers to, because that's what we're all about. We're about providing resources and education so that you can navigate life more successfully in all challenges, no matter what they are.
Well, I really appreciate that information. I'm pretty sure my audience got the information they haven't. We'll definitely put it on our website, and we also put it on our podcast too, Juan. But great. I learned one thing from you today is be intentional. Be intentional about eating healthy, be intentional about exercising, be intentional addressing your mental needs, and be intentional on budgeting. And so, ladies and gentlemen, be intentional and make it happy. Thank you so much, Juan Lee, for coming on our show. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks again.
And I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for joining me, Mitchell Rivers, on another terrific episode of the Career Education Learners in the Podcast, where we make your career dreams a reality. God bless.